It is time now for the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, join us here on 105 through the Fan, brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Good morning, Jerry. How are we doing today?
Morning, RJ. Bobby, good to be on with you.
Good to have you here, man. Fifth straight loss. I can't believe I just manned the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but whatever. Fifth straight loss, sixth straight at home. All of them have seen you guys behind by 20 points or more. What was your biggest takeaway from last night?
Well, I thought that we probably are showing the injury results, the fact that we're staying pretty much in the ball game early. We were within striking distance there as we went in at halftime, albeit had to do with a big play by Turpin and Rush. But when you see us have the issues in the second half that we're having, then that really speaks to our depth. That speaks to the toll that we're having with our injuries. That's when it really shows up. And to me, all teams have injury. Ours, of course, is showing up quite a bit. It's pretty obvious when you see Rush out there rather than Dak. But still, to me, the reason that we're not able to come out consistently in the third quarter and get something going has to do with numbers. It has to do with, in this particular game, we were having some depletion in our players right during the game that impacted the game. At one time I looked out there and we had 4 of our 5 starting linemen that were on the sideline on offense, and that'll take its toll, along with the fact that we're just not playing well. I thought Rush played better than he accounted for the previous game, but still it was far off the mark from what it took to beat a team that normally we should have been able to step up here and have a better accounting for.
Jerry, does those injuries impact how you do evaluate and how you will evaluate the coaching staff at the end of the year?
Yeah, you take into account all of the everything that was a plus and everything that was a minus. I think that you would have your head in the sand to think that anybody's pleased with what we're doing in terms of as you look to the future. And, of course, the reason the NFL, to me, or one of the reasons that it has the interest and the popularity it's got is the parity aspect of it. And I've often had as a guideline, you should be able to go out and compete with the system we're in, the ability to, if you have a bad season, the ability to rebound by getting the best players, whether they be on the waiver wire, whether they be in the draft. That should have a team that walks out there and is 50-50 competitive. When you see it drop below that, then you've got to take a lot of that in consideration.
Jerry, a couple big plays from last night that got a lot of discussion. There was the failed 4th down conversion where you guys decided to go for it inside the 10 and didn't get it. That left the points on the board there, the field goal. And then there was the fake punt that turned into a turnover on downs and gave Houston the ball in a short field. Did you have any issue with either one of those, or did you feel okay with both of those?
No, I thought that the fake punt took the air out of us. The reason you try the fake punt is to get the equivalent of a turnover and reverse the fact that you're having to punt, obviously. And when it doesn't work, it'll take some air out of you. Always does. When it works, it gives you a lift. We've tried it twice. It didn't work. And that one has some unique aspects to it, whether the punter calls off the fake punt or not. Those are some of the nuances of the play, and it hadn't worked for us, and it was unfortunate. But as far as taking issue with you, I have issue with any of them that didn't work. I'd rather have had the field goal when we got back in there and couldn't get points. I'd rather have had the 3, and everybody else would have too. But I understood why we took it off. But, that old adage, don't take points off the board. It can bite you.
Jerry, you mentioned, you guys had a number of injuries last night. I mean, a number of injuries coming into the game, but you left with several others, Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, Jake Ferguson, all guys that had injuries. Any major specific concerns for the long term coming out of last night's game, or are you still evaluating where some of those are?
No, I'm a little concerned with Ferguson. That was pretty obvious after the game, and we'll have to evaluate that. Those concussions are, as you well know, are an evaluation thing in the ensuing days. So you can look at that one. I was just flabbergasted when we lost the offensive lineman that we did. And it really got real obvious. Houston knew it. They put their ears back, and, boy, here they come, and took advantage of the fact that we were in there with that kind of crew. One of the things that has been a real handicap for us is that by having a young offensive line, apparently the nuances of making the calls and having more than one, let's say, rookie up there at the same time, that making the call and that coordination that goes on there. And, boy, those guys are a team within a team. They're coordinating there all the time, making their calls. Everybody does it. We're not doing a very good job of it, and it's telling. That's been one of the surprises of the year, is that we're not getting the coordinated play in the offensive line. You can blame it on youth, but you can blame it on youth because we've got some good talent up there.
Jerry, you mentioned there some of the communication along the offensive line, especially with having 2 young players up there, 2 rookies. Tyler Guyton has struggled a great deal lately. Mike McCarthy mentioned last night that he didn't want Guyton to try to run with that fumble, that they coach, hey, you need to get down. And of course, that turned into another turnover and a touchdown. Has there been any consideration to making a change at left tackle and going with a more veteran player?
No. We've played Guyton with his availability in mind. He's been nicked. Been nicked up a little bit, but frankly, where the calls make the most difference is in the interior, the guards in the center. But still, I know that Guyton obviously would like to have that one back and just drop down on the ball. But, boy, you give an offensive lineman a chance to get something and get a hold of that ball and do something with it, he'll take advantage of it, and that's what he did. That was really a play that, frankly, I think marked the last 5 games as much as anything. Is just the nuances of how that ended up happening. There we go with a score against us, but you can't win like that.
Jerry Jones joined us here on 105 through the Fan. Do you think it's time to switch to Trey Lance as the quarterback? Would you like to see him?
Well, I don't know that. I thought Rush actually had improvement last night from the game before. He didn't have far to go to get improvement, but I did think he had improvement. And frankly, there were times in that ball game that I thought it was really coming to it. And we know that we've got limited time to work with these quarterbacks at this particular time, and I would look for us to stay with the experience.
So does his lack of playing time signify that there may have been a misevaluation in where he is?
You're talking about
with the trade.
Triple Rush or Trey Lance?
With Trey. No,
we knew exactly where Trey Lance was when he left San Francisco. He was, 4th, 5th pick in the draft. We knew he hadn't played much football. He has improved dramatically. He, unlike you've got to get out there and you've got to play. we have thought it was just too important for us to have him at rookie quarterback in these last two ball games, because we need to win to that degree and give ourselves every chance we can. We hadn't gotten to the point that we were basically looking to evaluate Trey Lance more at all. And so that's where we are. No, I liked, I know where a fourth-round pick is, and I've seen them good, and I've seen Dak Prescott's a fourth-round pick. But I've seen a lot of fourth-round picks that didn't work out, too. So we really have really worked with Trey. We have evaluated Trey. We'll see what the future brings here over the next few weeks. But I'm satisfied where we are.
Jerry, you mentioned last night that some of the stuff that worries you, you're less worried about quitting, that you don't see that right now with the team, but you're worried more about execution and communication problems. Are those problems a shared responsibility of your players and your coaches, or is that something that you feel that the players have to shoulder themselves?
Well, I think that everybody's got a responsibility here. We've got 32 coaches, and that's 3 coaches for every guy out on the football field. And so we've got it covered now in terms of numbers and playing ball. But, of course, at this level, players that have really that are compensated like they're compensated. These are rare people who are out on that football field. You've heard me say before, of the 75,000 that are playing college football right now, this year, they're ultimately, within 2 years after their classes graduate, there won't be but about 150 a year stick in the NFL. These guys are great athletes. They've usually made the most of their athletic abilities. They know what they're out there for. Their compensation can change their lives of everybody they love and everybody they're going to love in their lives if they get in and take advantage of it. You don't have to worry about them not all in on any situation.
Jerry, given some of those problems with execution and communication, things like that, do you have any concerns at all that Mike might be spread a little too thin with the play calling duties?
That's always the issue. Do you want a walk around head coach, or do you want a one that's really in front of the team and everybody put an emphasis with his time on one side of the ball or the other, and does the walk around too? You get it both ways. You've seen it done successfully both ways. I've always thought that the coach that was actually making the call gained on credibility in front of the team, but a lot of people look at it differently. We've done it both ways, and that's always the issue, is that when you're not having the wins you have, they say, well, the coach just needs more time to be moving around the entire team. I've seen Mike do it both ways. He did it both ways before he came here at different times. And last year, I thought we'd really hit on something. He went over there and was head coach and full-time coordinator, and I think led the league or right there in terms of offense last year. So it is done both ways. It works both ways. I've had it done with the coaches that I've been involved with. I've had it done that way and with success, either way.
Do you think this coaching staff gives you an advantage, a coaching advantage week to week?
Well, I would say this. Our competition has, they pay their guys too. And but that's a fair question. And I know how hard this staff works. And I think there's some outstanding coaches on this staff. And it don't get, you can believe that they've got many ways to come in and make adjustments to try to improve where we are. and they'll be doing that continually.
Jerry Jones joined us here at 105 through the Fan. There were quite a few empty seats at the game. There were quite a few Texan fans there. There were Cowboy fans. There were bags over their head. What message does that send to you? Do you take that as a statement that they want change?
I've seen that with not just, I've seen it with most teams. And I think that certainly our fans are avid. They wouldn't be out there if they weren't avid. And I'm disappointed that we're bringing the team that we are to the field, and we've got to improve on that. That's not acceptable. Over the last, you've heard me say this, but it's factual. Since the Super Bowl years that on a personal basis I was involved in, since those years, counting about 30 years or 25 years, we've been the sixth winningest team in the NFL. In the last 15 years, we're the fifth winningest team in the NFL. So we haven't been to the championship playoff game. We haven't been to a Super Bowl, but we've been around that rim, and we've been up there with the best of them. We've had the whole gambit of experiences with our coaches, coaching staff, and sometimes it has worked, sometimes it didn't work as well as we'd hoped for it to. Rest assured, we'll be figuring out ways to look for what we're doing wrong and improve on that.
Jerry, you guys, a quick league question for you here. You guys had the Paul Tyson fight at AT&T Stadium this weekend, and there were a lot of issues with the streaming broadcast on Netflix. The NFL is going to have games on there next month on Netflix. Is there any concern within the league about Netflix's ability to handle the audience, the NFL audience on their streaming platform?
Not other than the obvious. That was an audience that the number of viewers got up there with Super Bowl numbers. It wasn't but a couple of years ago, I recall, that when we exceeded, I think the number was around 15, 16, 17 million, and that might have been within the last year or two, that you dared think about numbers. What would happen if you tried to serve that much audience? And so, frankly, this is a real attaboy to streaming. And I think that game did do just that, and that is give Netflix the template of what to do, how to adjust as far as our Christmas games are coming. But make no mistake about it, anybody that just a year or two back that didn't know what was going to happen if you got 12 million people viewing at the same time streaming. Now then, we're sitting here looking at audiences that approach 60, 80 million people. So in that sense, it was a real positive. Yeah, they'll get in and work the kinks out of the kinds of things that they were dealing with the other night. And I don't believe there's any doubt that streaming is a medium that you're going to see a lot of football games presented and have the opportunity to see a lot of football games and the opportunity for leagues to use streaming.
Hey, Jerry, we really appreciate you popping on. I know we usually have you 2 days after the game, so having you 12 hours after.
Well, I wish I had more information for you, like a injury report or those type of things, but obviously we're hours from it, and I've got a meeting in New York in about 10 hours, 6 hours, something like that. So it's business as usual, but, boy, this is a serious disappointment. Make no mistake about it. But don't get me wrong, I know there's no sympathy out here for what we're into. This is not the world's smallest violin you're seeing this morning sitting here at the table. But the bottom line is that we've got to get better. We will get better. There are better days ahead.
Thank you, Jerry. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.